So Highland Guys Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Luke from the Dirty Nil.
And we're some questions today about the upcoming album, The Lash. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
I feel awesome. I mean, like it's always a strange process when you make something, and sometimes when you have to sit on it for a little while, you start to be like, well, is it, how are people gonna do it, or how are people gonna take it? And you know, on one hand, it is very beautiful to see that people are really digging the sound that we have and the direction that we have on this record, but it's also just kind of like a good reinforcer for us that we do this because we love it, and that's the primary reason. There's other reasons, of course, but self-fulfillment is the number one goal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
in keeping with that, though, it is beautiful to see that people are digging it. It always is.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sure.
I saw you made a post that like you wanted to talk to people about this record, so I'm feeling like you're especially excited about this one.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite record that we've made since I don't know, at least a few records. This has been this one is my definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite one that we've ever made. And I do mean that genuinely. I do think that people are often coming on and saying, I'm sure they come on your podcast and say, this is our best record. But
Yep,
I
best one
and
yet.
yeah, but honestly, I know it sounds so cliche and tired, but I really do feel very strongly about the quality of this material, and the quality of the recording, and I think I'm just really proud of it.
Hell yeah. Well, the
Hell
album
yeah.
kicks ass. It's so good.
Damn straight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys dig it. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like with this one, we kind of we really got a chance, like we were just really in the groove, and I do find, I think that when things come together quickly and naturally, that there I do find there to be it obviously leaves us with a warmer feeling about the material because we have less resentment against it. But I do think that the best things in rock and roll music are natural and kind of and free, and this material came together very quickly. That's not to say that we didn't work on it really hard, but there wasn't a whole lot of, I mean, with I think certain other records that we've made, there's been a lot of humming and hawing and revisions and stuff that's mostly informed by subconscious self-doubt and concern about, what you're making. And this one was totally free and just full of enthusiasm the entire time, and not really a whole lot of second guessing, just forward momentum, which is definitely has given me a confidence in it that I have not had in a while about our records.
Well,
That
that's
is
great to
so
hear.
wonderful to hear.
Hell yeah. Now,
Hell yeah.
with that in mind, I'm curious about the timeline for the record. When you guys started writing it, when you had the masters in hand, rough dates, they don't have to be exact.
Totally. So I started working on some of the songs for it just before Free Reign to Passions came out in the summer of 2023. But I was just kind of like taking my time with it. I was kind of, we weren't working super hard on the material. We were still kind of getting geared up to promote Free Reign and doing all the videos and doing all the touring behind that. So I was just kind of away in the background, working on some of the songs. And when we got done the touring for that record at the kind of end of 2023, that's when I brought the songs in, and we were just really hot from the road and feeling really good about the response to Free Reign. I think that confidence really informed the arrangement process of these songs. But we recorded it about a year ago in Hamilton here, and this is the first record that we've done without John Goodmanson, and our amazing producer, engineer, and mixer that from Seattle. But this one we used a local guy named Vince Soliveri, who we did all our demoing with for years, and we
Yeah.
just said, Vince, you want to make a record, man? Like, let's, and Vince would complain to me all the time, like, he's one of the best audio engineers I've ever met in my life. He's a young guy. He works with these bands in Hamilton and the surrounding area. And his complaint was, I pour my soul into making these things amazing, and then the band breaks up before this thing comes out. And
Damn.
we with this record, a lot of the kind of the mission statement around it was to go to go local and to highlight some of the talent around here rather than and just kind of keep things trying to elevate some talent from our town and see what we can do that mutually benefits both parties. Part of that too was we got our friend Sarah to play violin and cello on the record. She had never played a cello before. We rented her one, and we're just like, "You can figure it out, right?" And
Yeah,
we,
figure it out.
You're good at
Yeah,
music,
Can't
right?
be too hard.
and she did, and she figured it
Hell
out
yeah.
on the spot, which was amazing. But I think with the last one, Free Rein to Passions, we went to this really expensive studio where we stayed at, and we were like bunking up there, and there's really nothing around, and we kind of said, well, let's not do that again. Let's do kind of a 9 to 5 or whatever, 9 to 9 work day. 5 days a week, take the weekend off, and then another 9 to 9 work week, and just be in Hamilton. We don't have to go to a nice studio to do what we do. We're a rock and roll band. We're not making symphonic music, and we really liked the kind of cozy, more kind of working class studio that we'd been demoing at with Vince, and we said, let's just make a record here. These demos sound awesome if we spend a little bit more time on them than doing everything, 5 or 7 songs in a day. If we kind of space that out over 2 weeks, we can be very leisurely about it and have a great time. And we know this studio. Let's not break the bank and go out and let's bet on ourselves a little bit more. So, I think part of going with a bigger studio in the past has kind of been like it feels like the right thing to do to kind of get to the next level.
Yeah.
And we're more, I think, coming off the back of that, we felt like I think we are reasonably competent at what we do on the stage and in the studio. And I think that we can bet on ourselves a little bit more. And by that, I mean, we don't have to have the kind of the ego blanket of going to a really nice studio and spending loads of time there with all this great crazy gear that we never even use to fill us with confidence in what we make. We can make this thing in our town in a smaller studio with a friend and still feel like it's going to kick ass, and it does.
Yeah.
So
Damn
yeah.
straight. Okay, so you mentioned that the process was more streamlined and kind of lax this time around. So going into it for this album, was that your direct approach, or was it just kind of the outcome of let's just take it easy this time. Let's do it closer to home. Let's do it with someone we're really familiar with, and let's do it in not a massive, very expensive studio this time around.
I think that this one was mostly informed, like coming out of the pandemic and making Free Rein to Passions. We were working with a lot of different factors. We had new management, we had a new bass player, we had a lot of, and so we tried to kind of like, okay, well, let's keep some things consistent, and this is what we need to do. But I think coming off the touring cycle for Free Rein to Passions, we came to the collective realization that we don't necessarily, I think we were a lot more confident heading out of the free reign cycle than we were heading into it, if that makes sense. And so there wasn't really kind of a big summit where we had some philosophizing session about what we want to do next. It was all very natural, and there was one conversation about why don't we just do Vince down the street? I mean, Vince kicks ass, and that studio is awesome. We love it. And it's also we can go home at night and eat hamburgers instead of I think we kind of reached the zenith of what we're willing to of kind of really upscale studio with lots of gear and accommodations and stuff. We reached the zenith of that last time, and we kind of wanted to go. We all did not exactly want to do that next time again. That's not to say we'd
Yeah.
maybe do that in the future. I don't know, but we wanted a kind of opposite approach this time, I think, just naturally.
Yeah, makes
Yeah, for
sense.
sure. Completely fair. And is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yes. So the album is called The Lash, and I kind of had that title kicking around in my mind for a little bit. Right before we went on the Free Reign of Passions tour, I went to Italy with my partner, and we went to the Vatican. And I'm not a religious person, and so I wasn't really. I was kind of like, do we have to go to the Vatican? But
Yeah.
I was blown away by the Vatican. I had
Yeah.
such a great time in there. You know, you see the Sistine Chapel, you see all this incredible artwork, and right in the basement of the Vatican, there was this dusty corner that no one else was stopping at. Everyone was just walking past. There were these bronze reliefs, and so that's it's a piece of bronze with that's been kind of carved into, and
Mhm.
there was this three pieces, and it was these really brutal images of the Second World War from the Italian perspective,
Mm.
and they were made by a man named Francisco Messina. And he had this one piece called The Horror of War or The Pity of War. I can't quite remember right now, but it was two guys fighting over a knife, and they were both had these miserable expressions on their face,
Yeah.
like they didn't want to be there. And it was just it really moved me. And so I kind of had this. I just thought like it just felt like a really strong, quick, sharp title. Again, kind of moving in a different direction from what we did last time. And we tried so hard to get that piece of artwork licensed, but we were thinking about just like going ahead and waiting on a cease and desist. But essentially, we got a no from the Vatican. We have a letter like saying no.
That's kind of badass. That's the
It's
next
pretty
album.
cool.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
pretty
next
cool.
album cover. Hmm.
So, and we're actually using it. We're using that artwork on like a limited edition local one. So
Oh,
don't
hell
tell the
yeah.
Vatican or tell them. I don't care. But they got enough problems, it seems like these days. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we kind of had. I once I had that title, and I usually just kind of bounce it off Kyle to see what he thinks, and he really liked it. And then I basically finished. I didn't have the lyrics done for that song for the first song, "Gallop of the Hounds," and I just kind of threw that line into the song because it felt like a good way to kind of give conceptualize the album a little bit further. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I just thought it kicked ass as a title,
I agree.
captured the spirit of the music.
Damn
Hell yeah.
straight. Yeah.
So what song off the album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Longest to write was probably it's probably I Was a Henchman, the last one. It's kind of like there's not really a whole lot of repeating parts in it. It's kind of a bit of like a musical movement. It's a departure from what we've had as an album format leading up to now. Usually we kind of have like some kind of ballad or kind of epic, more melodic song as the last one. And this one we just wanted to absolutely crush some skulls on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And so I Was a Henchman. It just took a lot because it was kind of a complicated. It had a bunch of parts that I had, but we had to work hard as a team to kind of stitch them together and make them flow into each other. And it was kind of like arranged, like it was. We don't have a whole lot of music that's like that has a bunch of different kind of almost movements. At the risk of sounding, sniffy, some movements
Yeah.
to it. So that one took a little while, but it kind of nowhere near how long some other songs in our previous catalog have taken. We're I think the art of writing and arranging, we've learned a lot about it as we've kind of made our way through it. And one of the things that I can recommend, or at least is a technique that's been valuable for me and us in general, is when you're stuck on something, just put that down and pick up another thing. So you always want to make sure you have multiple songs that you're working on. If you're just working on one song, you're going to beat that fucker into the ground.
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah.
just it's and you're gonna ruin your enjoyment of it, or at least I do, and we do, and you start to overanalyze every little thing. You gotta try and be a bit freer with it, and the only way to do that is to have multiple irons in the fire that you can kind of be like, well, we've hammered this one enough today. Back in the fire you go. Let's take this one out. Try
Exactly.
working on that one. So yeah, I mean, we there wasn't really usually with records, there's kind of like a wall that you hit with the material where like, is any of this even good? Like we never
Yeah.
hit that with this one. We were touring a lot, so we were kind of working on it in sound checks, working on the arrangements. But I was really confident in the songs that I brought. I was happy with a lot of them, and you know, usually the better the song that I brought in, the faster the arrangement came together, which often isn't the case. Sometimes when you bring in one that you know everybody really likes, sometimes the arrangement can kind of get snared up because everyone's like, well, I have this idea for it and I have this
Mhm.
idea for it. I think that with confidence comes a relaxation, and the confidence that the free reign cycle gave us, we just kind of used that momentum, and it brought this material to fruition much faster and easier than it has in the past.
Damn
Hell
straight.
yeah.
That's wonderful. All right.
And
Um,
did you mention your personal favorite?
Oh, personal favorite. I think my favorite song on the record is probably, I don't know, there's a few to choose from, but I really like I like Rock and Roll Band because I think that was the first song that I wrote for the record. I just wrote it in GarageBand, and I was really angry one day, and I used my anger and I threw it in there, and I was really happy after I did it. I was like, "Fuck yeah, it's decent. There's some decent riffs in there."
yeah.
But I think either that one or Spider Dream, or which comes out tomorrow, actually, Spider Dream.
Oh,
But
damn straight.
or I really like Warning You. I mean, I think that's this it might be a little selfish because it's just me playing on that one with Sarah on the violin and cello, but I just really like how that one came together, and it Kyle really encouraged me to do that one. I showed it to him, and uh you know, I think that I was really kind of nervous about it because I knew I really liked it. I knew that I really liked what I had, but I didn't think that, you know, I didn't want to make anybody feel awkward being like, well, where's my role in this? But
Hmm.
Kyle heard it and was like, that has to go on the album. And so it made me
Good.
really proud and happy that I have such an awesome partner in crime as Kyle to be like, no, that's great. That's going on the album.
Yeah.
So that song has a special place in my heart because it kind of just when I think of that song, I think of Kyle saying that, and also just like it was such a cool moment in the recording studio hearing Sarah lay down the strings on it. We've never used strings before, and
Hmm.
we thought this was the album to do it because the material, a lot of it's so brutal that we thought it could use some strings.
Makes us some balance. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did the track listing for the album come about? Did you write the opener be the opener, closer be the closer? Did you shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
You know, we never really kind of like write songs to be like, here's an opener, here's a closer. We kind of just kind of take a step back. Like that was a lot of kindas in a row. We take a look at all the material that we have. We step back, and we usually record it and then decide. But
Mhm.
sometimes we try and come up with some rough sequencing, even just like that'll open, that'll close, because it will dictate a little bit about any little extra bits you throw in while you're actually recording.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it was pretty clear heading into the studio that Hounds was going to open it because
Hmm.
it rips pretty good. We kind of left it as a bit of a question mark as to what to do ending things. And I think the natural thing, you know, our traditional thing would have been putting like a Spider Dream or a Warning as the very last song. It's kind of the pattern that we followed. But you know, I we had a good discussion about it, and we all kind of rallied behind the idea of like, no, this album is brutal. Let's start it brutal and end it brutal, and we can have some moments of somber tenderness in the middle, but let's slam the door on the way out. So I mean, I think we usually kind of structure it so that we have like we front loaded a little bit to try and make sure that some of the heat's up front, but we also want to kind of pad it out in the back too. But this is one of those ones where I don't really feel like there's not any songs where I don't feel awesome about being there. We had more material that we cut from the record that also turned out great, but they were just the other songs sounded a little too happy, so we wanted to keep this one
That's
as
fair.
bleak and pounding as possible.
Yeah, mission
All
accomplished.
right.
Hell yeah. So where was your headspace at while you guys were writing this album?
I was really angry,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. A lot of it. I mean, this was Kyle calls this one my therapy record.
Hell yeah.
We were coming out of the back end of like a lot of music industry related conflict, and I'll leave it at that.
No
But I was
problem.
just really I was just stewing in anger, and this music was my way of really processing things. And I think I've kind of it may I reflect on it now because I'm in a way better I'm really happy now. But I do it is caused me to pause and reflect on the fact that like I do use the band as my kind of my piñata, my whenever I'm feeling really extreme about things, whether I'm really happy or really angry or sad, um, I try and channel that into music because it's much better than pacing around and circular thinking and getting nowhere, spinning your tires. I'd rather turn that into something that I can make a little money off. No, just kidding.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah,
Monetize the
exactly.
anger.
But I think that to be honest with you, yeah, I was in a pretty gnarly spot for a lot of this stuff. But I think that, as I said with Rock and Roll Band, like getting it down into this thing
Mhm.
on my garage band and hearing back my terrible demo made me stoked. And I couldn't wait to be like, yo, Kyle, check this out. And he was like, fuck yeah.
Fuck
So,
yeah, dude.
this is out of all the records that we've ever had, this one was driven by like I would say like anger and sadness and but like kind of, not to be cheesy, but it was like it was the product, it was like kind of taking the real tough stuff that I was the weather that I was experiencing up in the old meat muffin
Mhm.
and turning it into music that it was the right kind of like um it was a really nice meeting of factors where the band was really cooking and working very efficiently and having a great time, and I was cranking out tunes and using music as my therapy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was that's kind of where most of the music came from.
Gotcha. Well, I'm
Damn
happy to hear
straight.
that you're doing way better now.
Yeah,
Thank
and the
you.
music was
Yeah, no,
there
I'm
for you.
great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Damn
That's
straight.
life, baby.
Ain't that right? Oh my god.
Riding high in April, shot down in May, in the words of Frank Sinatra.
God damn. So, how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, dark with headphones on? Should they work out to it? What do you personally recommend?
Well, I think that this is however you like listening to music, I think that my way of interacting with music is usually like I prefer to listen to music with other people, but I do also like having my own private relationship with music, and I think it's important, like it's important to me to have both, and I would imagine that other people are similar.
Mhm.
But I think that the first way that you should listen to this record is if you have a motor vehicle, to put it on, turn it to absolute maximum volume, and drive around at the speed limit or just above.
There you
There you go.
go. Okay.
All right.
Hell yeah. Okay. No other specifications. Just drive really, really loud.
Just drive, man.
Hell yeah. Love
Damn
it.
straight. Damn straight.
So this question should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Short, sharp, brutal.
Hell yeah. I thought you were gonna go for another S.
No, okay, wait, let me try that one. Short, sharp, and sweet.
There you go.
I'm gonna go
Oh,
with
I mean,
that.
that's complete opposite of brutal, but
Because there's a little bit I mean there's hooks, man. Like this isn't this isn't a black metal record. Like
true.
there's some hooks, there's some bangers on here, but
Exact,
it's
some Ashton
short,
for you.
sharp, and sweet.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah, damn straight. And in that same train of thought, but not as much pressure, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to evoke in your listeners?
Not particularly. I think that kind of going back to the private part of music enjoyment that I just hope that anybody can get anything out of it, really,
Hmm.
because, as I said, we made it for us. We also, not to say that we didn't make it for our fans. Like we make our music for ourselves and our fans, but we don't come up with music saying the fans are gonna really like this. We have the confidence that our fans are awesome,
Hmm.
and if we're stoked about it, they will probably be stoked about it. So, yeah, in terms of the emotion that we just want anybody to feel anything.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Hell yeah.
So can you talk about any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
I would say that getting my dog to sing or howl on Gallop of the Hounds was a very positive moment.
Damn straight.
That was really cool. We got a post about that on Instagram if anybody wants some more information on that. But
Hmm.
he's a howler. He's a cattle dog. He loves howling. He's got a favorite song. It's called "The Cattle Call" by Eddie Arnold.
Hell yeah.
I can get him howling pretty good, but we got him in the recording studio, got him howling on the track, and then we bought him a Korean corn dog after that, and he loved it.
Lucky son of a
Um,
bitch.
Right, I'm
so that
saying.
was great. I mean, I always love recording guitar. Like it's just I'm I love writing songs. I love singing. I love singing the older I get and the deeper into our career we get, the more confident I get with it. But nothing beats recording like plugging in my Les Paul Custom into a wall of Marshalls and setting up the mics and just being like, this is the best. Those are always like some of the highlights of my life are just getting to track Nil guitars.
Mm. Hell
So
yeah.
hell
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
In terms of difficult moments,
Hmm.
um. There wasn't real, I mean, like there was a lot. I'm not a big believer. I subscribe to the kind of the general philosophy that I don't really believe that like tension makes great records. I think
Yeah.
that like
Pressure makes diamonds. Hmm.
good vibes and like a functional working machine makes good records.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of my favorite records were made amidst a bunch of, a bunch of turmoil. Usually when I research those records, I see that the band was getting along pretty well and they were really creatively working together and it was going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually like when, the fighting and the drugs and everything kind of gets out of control
Yeah.
with those kind of older bands that they make their shittier records. So, um, there's not really, there was a couple moments of just like, should we do the palm mute, the chug guitars or the 12 string guitar there? Like, I think this, I think that, and they were just like, well, the chugs sound better. Okay, good call. Yeah. But like, but there was no tension in the studio on this one. It was or no, nothing compared to other records that we've made. When I think of this record, I'm filled with just good memories. And I can't say the same for some of our more recent records. Though there were great times during those.
Hmm.
This is the one where it just we were in prime form entering that studio.
That's great to hear.
Damn straight. That's great. And for this last question, boom, we're placing the entire band in a horror movie. Who
Yeah.
is dying first and who is surviving to the end?
I'm dead first for sure.
Damn.
Um,
Mm.
let's see. I think I'm just gonna skip right ahead. I'm gonna say Kyle's gonna make it to the end.
That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Because I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling. I think I just I it depends on what kind of horror movie. If it's like a really serious, scary horror movie, I think maybe Kyle dies first. But if it's like a funny horror movie, then I die first for sure.
All right.
Okay.
That's my best guess.
Hell yeah, love it.
That's wonderful.
So as Gloria said, that's all the questions I have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
I like to say it's beautiful to be alive. It's amazing to be on the planet Earth. If you're lucky enough that you get to play music or make art of any kind, I encourage you to do that with as much of your daily hours and life energy as possible, because there's nothing better. And I wouldn't want to be alive at any other time, any other place. And I'm just stoked as hell to be playing rock and roll at this time and place. And I love everybody. And go check out our new record. It's called The Lash. It's brutal. And I love you all. And hail, hail, rock and roll. That's all I got to say.
Hell yeah.
Damn straight.
All right. Well, thank you. This has been Luke from the Dirty Nil, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.